10 Common Misconceptions About Animals. Everyone seems to be familiar with some animal facts. For example, cheetahs can run at highway speeds while cows have 4 stomachs. However, there are several well-accepted animal facts that aren't really true. 10 Sheep are stupid. Everyone is aware of sheep's stupidity, if there is one thing. After all, the flock will simply rise and follow if one sheep begins to move swiftly. They are typically regarded as being unambitious and unmotivated, and many people would compare their intelligence to that of rocks. On the other hand, according to animal biologists, sheep are only slightly inferior to pigs, rats, and monkeys. They even come close to humans in several tests. They are of around average intelligence among farm animals, according to recent studies. They can actually pick things up quite rapidly, adapt to changing conditions, make mental maps of their surroundings, and even plan ahead. Although it's hardly complex calculus, it's a respectable effort for an animal that is widely believed to be an absolute moron. 9 Goldfish are slim. Any parent will agree that a goldfish is an excellent first pet for a young child. It doesn't require much care, and it won't be around for very long. It's rather typical for goldfish to get flushed within their first week of life. My first goldfish was one of them. However, contrary to popular belief, goldfish are not completely defenseless. In fact, among those in the know, the extraordinary survival abilities of goldfish have even taken on the status of an urban legend. After jumping out of its tank, one fish lived for 13 hours while another persisted for 7 hours on a stone floor. It turns out that goldfish substantially limit their biological functions while they are in low oxygen environments in water, just like hibernating bears do in the winter. They might employ the same strategy while sprawled out on the kitchen floor. Their bodies speed up again, and they continue swimming without pausing when they are restored to water or water that has more oxygen in it. 8 Pigs are stupid. The average person is unaware that pigs are smarter than they appear, despite the fact that it is likely that an animal that spends most of its time rolling in its own waste won't be the next Einstein. For crying out loud, by the time they are a week old, they can respond to a name. Pigs and human toddlers have been matched up in research studies for joystick-controlled video games that require item manipulation and recognition. Pigs routinely outperform young children in tests. Additionally, if a pig, let's call her Spamila Anderson, sees another pig, let's call him David Hamelhoff, going for a stockpile of food, Spamila will follow him and attempt to steal the stash. The Hoff, however, is not a total moron, so if he discovers that Spamila is more powerful than he is, he will attempt to abandon her or direct her to a fictitious stockpile. The ability to understand what other animals are thinking or desiring, a skill previously only seen in chimpanzees and dogs, is being demonstrated by the pigs. 7 Only moderately intelligent dogs. Even though it's common knowledge that dogs are smart, studies have shown that they actually outsmart us. Researchers offered the subject 2 upside-down buckets, one of which had a treat underneath it, in a test involving human toddlers, chimpanzees, and dogs. The researcher would then make different gestures at the proper bucket, including tapping, pointing, nodding, and even staying perfectly still while just gazing at it. Chimps and young children struggled to choose the right bucket, but they improved after some trial and error. However, the dogs consistently made the right choice, doing so twice as frequently as the toddlers and 4 times as frequently as the chimpanzees. No, the dog's keen sense of smell didn't make a difference. Both buckets were intentionally manufactured to smell like the treat. You're right, Fido undoubtedly understands you more than your own little child. 6 Men cannot lactate. There are certain life tasks that only women can complete, such as childbirth and breastfeeding, am I correct? Goat mothers are fortunate since their husbands can produce udders and provide for the family. And this isn't simply an isolated incident that occurred at one farm in a remote part of Never Heard Of. This has been well documented and is a very typical occurrence. For experts, however, it remains a mystery as to why the functioning male goats occasionally have extra female organs. Don't you guys wish you could accomplish that? 5 Sluggish crocodiles. You know how scary, toothy crocodiles move quickly in the water and slowly on land? you're wrong, and as a result, you're dead. On land, crocodiles have a top speed of more than 10 miles per hour, 16 kilometers per hour. That land speed is more than sufficient, as they typically surprise their prey before striking. Do you feel fear yet? Most individuals are also aware that crocodiles are the dominant predators in their habitat. What if, though, crocodiles faced predators other than herbivores like water buffalo and wild boar? Well, sharks have been killed by saltwater crocodiles. Keep your distance and avoid trying to take a selfie while turning your back. For animals don't honor death. Animals are aware of mortality, of course. They must defend themselves and their young, and many murder other creatures for sustenance. But you might be surprised to learn that some animals perform rituals when their fellow members pass away. For instance, it has been observed that a number of primate species grieve and mourn their dead, and a red fox has also been seen burying a deceased friend. Elephants frequently guard the remains of their deceased relatives, even if they were not blood relatives in life. Additionally, a western scrub jay will explore a dead bird of the same species and shout out so that other jays around can learn of the find. Although it may appear that the birds are simply alerting their friends to the threat, the birds also stopped eating for more than a day. Either people and animals are more alike than we previously believed, or vice versa. Who can say? 3. Animal sex is all business. Simple instinct. Living off the strongest Mother Nature is tangoing horizontally. Animal sex is all business, ma'am, it's not enjoyable. And it is especially true for species like mice and rabbits that produce a lot of young. But both of those creatures are surprisingly poetic when it comes to making love. As part of their mating rituals, they even sing a sort of song. When a rabbit is ready to mate, especially a doe, they will produce a quiet honking noise to signal their readiness. Mice go one step farther and communicate with their friends through singing. Although the sounds they produce are ultrasonic and therefore inaudible to humans, they do form a coherent song when they are recorded and tuned for human ears. Only in the presence of females, or when provoked by the scent of a female, would the males perform these songs. Mice are therefore a little more refined than the filthy sex machines we once thought of them as. 2. Fish are shy buyers. To be fair, many fish fit this description. The majority of river fish prefer to consume smaller fish, tasty-looking weeds, or insects. However, European fish are advancing globally. They are learning to hunt pigeons that congregate around the water to drink, living up to their whiskey namesakes. The catfish slowly rises, leaps from the water, and chomps on a leg or wing. They'll try to drag the pigeon back into the water and drown it if they can get a hold of one, so they can enjoy their food quietly. Reminder to self, when traveling to Europe, leave the pet bird at home. 1. Camels must always be perspiring. Everything that dwells in the desert will be saturated with perspiration. The only thing that doesn't perspire when everyday temperatures hit 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, is definitely a robot. It appears that it could be a camel. To control body temperature, many animals perspire. However, camels hardly ever perspire. Instead, they frequently allow their body temperature to skyrocket, reaching as high as 41 degrees Celsius, 106 degrees Fahrenheit. If you stop to think about it, it seems logical that their bodies have evolved to ignore the heat. The most valuable resource in the desert is used up by sweating, water. That's for now. We appreciate you for being here. View more our channel videos.